intersection of good drinks, good music, and good times. This is Hops and Spirits Bar Conversations.
All I know is there's a lot of good music coming out. We're going to be talking with a guy that's making some of that here in a second. Don't forget to go beyond the bar with us as we leave the conversation and go a little deeper into a song with an artist. Check that out. Our first one was out with Ali Colleen. Got a few more coming. You don't want to miss those on our social media and where you can find our podcast. But like I said, we got a rising country singer-songwriter. His debut EP, Last I Love You, is out now. Let's welcome in Christian Hayes.
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
It's going good. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Just living the dream.
I was going to say, you're making music and having a good time, right?
Yeah, I know. It's what like every little kid dreams to do one day, and I get to do it. So, yeah, can't complain whatsoever.
Well, we're going to get into, your career, all that, how you got to where you are. But, this is Bar Conversations. I've got a little drink tonight, a little Hard Truth, a little High Road Rye. You drink anything good tonight?
Yeah, I got I played a showcase for Nashville Briefing a couple weeks ago, and they had a bourbon sponsor, Mr. and Miss Bourbon Company. They only made like 200 bottles, so I'm drinking that. It's the Nashville Briefing. It's the Briefs Barrel. So I got an old found this old vintage whiskey set from like the 20s at a thrift shop one time, and it's what I always drink in. But yeah, it's good. Mr. and Miss Bourbon Company. Y'all should try it out. They're at Tennessee.
I love it. I love it. I was gonna say. So now, do you have like a little bar cart collection? You dab a little bit. What's your kind of go-to drink on a given night?
I just moved to Nashville like a month ago. So a bunch of my whiskey is still at my parents' house, which means it's probably gone by now. Cause my dad and my brother are like huge whiskey heads, like bourbon, scotch, like all like they like got me into it. But I would say like my go-to, like not I don't drink every day, but my daily drinker would probably be Buffalo Trace. Love Buffalo Trace.
Good one.
It's a good smooth, like if you're at dinner and if you don't want to spend a lot of money on anything. My all-time favorite though would be Old Saint Nick.
Nice.
And I want to say, don't quote me, I want to say it's 12 or 15 year, but it's one my mom normally buys for my dad every year for Christmas, and it's a lights out drink. It's if you got a couple $100 to spend on a bottle and you're gonna like savor it and like drink it right, like Old Saint Nick, 100%. They have my sign of approval. Not that it means anything, but
Hey, I like the taste. You've got good taste, and I love to see that. And it's so now when you say your family, your brother and dad are kind of whiskey nerds, whiskey geeks. I mean, are they like coming up to Kentucky, going to the distilleries, doing different things like that?
they have. My brother is like friends with every liquor store owner. Like they all live in Georgia. So he's friends with all like the liquor store owners in town, and it's funny. He'll text like in our family group message if like he's a nurse and he works night shift. So like a lot of times they'll release the whiskeys at night. And he'll like text in our family group message like, "Hey, if anyone's up and like in town, like please go buy this bottle for me. Like I'll Venmo you." And then my dad, he travels a lot for work, so he picks stuff up when he travels, and then he go like he's in a bunch of like fancy business meetings and dinners, so like whatever they have, he's like, "This is a good one, let me grab it." And so yeah, they kind of like from a array of different like areas and places and like meetings and such. I've like found these whiskeys, but my brother definitely is like he's on the whiskey podcast. He watches the YouTube channels. He does all of what you can do to find good whiskey. He does so.
Well, and then you get the benefit of it occasionally, and it all works out. And now I've got to ask you this. I know you enjoy good whiskey. Is it true though your friends call you the Lullaby Kid, and where did that come from?
Yeah, so funny enough, I actually my best friend that started calling me that actually is in Nashville today, so I'm gonna let him chime in on that. This is James Brown.
What's up? What's up? How are y'all?
Welcome. So how did it become Lullaby Kid?
Yeah. Well, the first time I heard Christian sing, I said, "You got a voice like cheesecake, like an angel eating cheesecake. It just sounds so smooth, but so like rich." And then eventually, like he had this song called "Sleeper," and I literally used to listen to it going to sleep. And I said, "You got a voice like you singing lullabies. It's just really good. It's always he's really good at coming up with melodies and had like that smooth vocals, kind of raspy to it from time to time. So it's just like He just the Lullaby Kid, man. And he called his sister Kid all the time, so I was like, Lullaby Kid, you know. So we all started doing that back in Tuscaloosa, so
Yeah.
pretty cool.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, you gotta
What?
love a nickname, and it stuck with you, right?
Yeah. No, it has. It's funny. It's one of those things that JB used to call me the Lullaby Kid, and here we are. Now I actually get to use that name, and people listen to it, and it means something, right? But yeah.
You just never know where things will happen, and like I said, you do this thing called music as well, and that's obviously where the Lullaby Kid came from. Did you grow up in a musical family? Like at least whether it was music, creative, what was that upbringing like for you?
Yeah, for sure. So my dad plays guitar. That's like why I wanted to start playing guitar was I wanted to be cool like dad. My mom can sing. My brother, I actually taught him guitar. He may not admit that, but I want the record to state that I taught him guitar. Um, but that man can play drums like no one's business. He carries the rhythm in the family for sure. And then my sister, she won't sing in front of people, but has a phenomenal voice. She actually is in college for dance. She does modern dance and ballet. Is like really talented. So definitely like creativity. My dad was or he started as a graphic designer. That's kind of how he started working, and so there's just always been art, music, and creativeness in the family for sure.
What I was gonna say, and you started writing in a journal that your grandfather gave you at what 7 years old? Is that how everything started too?
Yeah, yeah. My grandpa Jack gave us journals and little like kind of like pocket ones, for kids. But I started writing in it, dreams, songs, stories, really whatever kind of came to mind. He just always told us to write things down, and he passed away not too long after that. And my dad always like whenever we were a big like camping family, so we'd go on like hikes or camps, and excuse me, he would always encourage us to like write or to draw like sketch when we were like out in the woods. And so he just kind of like carried that tradition along. And like I said, I wanted to be cool like dad and pick up guitar, so I kind of just put two and two together and I wrote my first song in like third grade.
That's amazing, and you mentioned picking up the guitar. Obviously, you said your dad was a big part of that. But did you really check out a book from the library called Guitar for Dummies so you could learn when you were young?
Oh yeah, I checked out a bunch of like guitar books, some written like golly, like probably 1930s, like you were like blowing dust off of them in the library. Back when the library was cool. But I remember that, and then like YouTube was really like I want to say YouTube was kind of really getting started when I was a kid. But like there's a guy, what's his name, Marty Schwartz. I feel like everyone who plays guitar can like attribute something to him. Like he had he would like show tutorials on how to play songs. He'd be like, "Hey, it's Marty Schwartz here," and like that's one of those like everyone knows that. Like if you play guitar, you know Marty. So thank you, Marty, if you ever see this. But yeah, that and then like my dad teaching me. Um, a lot of it was self taught. I'm a pretty stubborn human being and was definitely an even more stubborn kid. So a lot of times dad would be like, "Hey, do this," and I'm like, "No, I'm gonna do it my way," and then I would do it my way, and it worked or it didn't. Most of the time it didn't, but we're here now 18 years later, and I'm still playing. So
Something must have worked.
yeah, we're here.
Well, and you mentioned the guitar, your writing. When did you start to sing? Like, where did that come into play?
Man, that's something that like I really can't pinpoint like an exact like I remember singing here. I know like growing up in church, I always like sang like when if whether it's hymnals or contemporary, right? Like I always sang along. Like I always loved to. My mom was in the praise and worship band when I was a kid, and my dad ran sound. So like I was always there hearing music on top of everything else musical. I did like in elementary school in Georgia, like everyone takes music. Like everyone takes a music class, and that can be anything from like keyboard, like playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star to singing Do Re Mi, right? But probably a mix of that, and then honestly singing in the shower. I know that's like everyone's like, "Oh, I sing in the shower," but for me, it was a place where like I could close my eyes and be a rock star, right? I mean, not like you could close your eyes and be a doctor. Like the shower, I feel like is just even like as an adult, it's just kind of a safe haven where you can just
Mhm.
exist and no one's bugging you. Um, but I would say the shower helped me get a start, and then, but I really can't remember the first time that I was like, hey, I'm gonna like sing in front of people. It just kind of like happened, and then all of a sudden I was like doing it.
Hey, the shower is a safe space. I will just say that. Yeah, I do a lot of thinking in there myself. Now, you mentioned church. Your mom in the worship band, your dad doing sound. How big of a role did church play though in your love of music and kind of how immersed you ended up becoming in it?
Man, it definitely played a huge role. I always tell people, I think God put me on the planet to write music and share it. I think that's the gift. I think He gives all of His gifts. He gives all of His passions, and I know that's the gift and the passion that He gave me. Um, and so yeah, church played a big role. It's always where like I felt closest to God playing music. And I always just felt me when I played music. There was no one could tell me I couldn't play this note if I wanted to play this note. No one said I couldn't sing about this. Like I could do entirely what I wanted to with a guitar in my hand or whatever it was, and could sing whenever I wanted to sing. And it was just kind of a place of like true freedom, I guess is a good way to say it. But yeah, played in like the youth band and then praise and worship, and then like played in like different college ministries in college. Did that too, and some different church plants in college as well. And it just was always a place that I could escape to, where I just felt uniquely me.
Well, and you talk about being able to do all the music. What music did you grow up on? Like what were you listening to, or and what kind of made an impact on you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, growing up, like the Eagles, like me and my mom used to sing the Eagles' greatest hits. We still do, but I remember being a kid and she would play that in the car. Um, like I'd probably like at some point could like name them like top to bottom all 50 greatest hits. I know it starts with "Take It Easy," which is my favorite song of all time. So used to listen to Eagles all the time. Guys like James Taylor were huge in my upbringing. Guys like Guy Clark. But I fell in love with guys like Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, a bunch of old heads. Used to listen to a lot of Motown and a lot of crooners. I loved how like they could do so much with their voice. Like, there was sometimes you listen to Frank songs and he's got a whole orchestra. Sometimes it's just kind of a piano and it's like, oh my gosh. Like, that's why I always loved Christmas music, like Nat King Cole and Bing Crosby and like Michael Bublé, like that, like all those guys. Like, um, I don't know. The voice is such a cool thing. Like, it's
Mhm.
it, it's unique and it like to each their own, and it's so cool. But definitely grew up on a lot of old music for sure.
I was gonna say you were naming some good ones, and I did notice though maybe some southern rock in there, but maybe not as much country. What did country come in from just being growing up in Georgia and being at the foothills of the Appalachians?
Yeah, man, and I'll be honest, I still to this day don't really listen to country music. I like, I listen to a lot of singer-songwriter, listen to a lot of R&B still. Um, I would say like, when you listen to my songs, I think genres are so broad now. Like everything's country right now, which is amazing, and like everything's pop and everything's this and that. I think we always try to put a box on creativity, and it's like the one thing in life we should like just shouldn't throw a box on. Like it's the one thing that can be anything and everything. But I would definitely say like a lot of the like more like folky Americana bluegrassy inspirations, came from guys like Doc Watson. Like used to listen to a lot of Doc. I used to like I can name the Andy Griffith Show, every TV series, and like even some of the stuff that like they play in that. Like I always loved the storytelling that came along with bluegrass, with Americana, with folk. And I think that like that, not to get nerdy, but it all comes from Celtic music, which then all turned into country music, and it's all kind of the same thing. It just depends on what your voice and the instruments you use are. But I definitely like, yeah, probably like college though. A lot more like country influence comes in like guys like Parker McCollum, like early like Limestone Kid Parker. You know, people like golly, Culture Wall, Tyler Childers. You know, even more so like guys like Charles Wesley Godwin, like Zach Bryan, Noah Khan, people like Casey Musgraves. Music like that like really influences me, and I'd say even more like look at like you know Shawn Mendes, the stuff he's doing now. Um, like you know he has strings, he has cello, like you know he's got upright banjo, whatever, mandolin in his stuff, and it's just it's music that tells a story, and it's like what instruments can help me best tell the story I'm trying to tell.
Well, and it's cool, amazing to hear you talk about the depth of the music. But you know, you still went to college. You went to the University of Alabama. You were in the U.S. Navy Reserves.
A real
Why
time.
why go that route and you know, it's not necessarily dive into the music route early?
Man, I'll be honest, I was scared. um I didn't know what to do, didn't know how to do it, and besides my family and a couple friends, didn't really have anyone that believed in me. You know, I had more people tell me no, you shouldn't do this than told me yes. um and I honestly thought it was unattainable, to be completely like frank with you. It was something that like I always wanted to do music. I always felt like I was calling me to do music in some way, but just didn't know how to get there. And it was daunting, and it was, you know, well, what if I do this and it doesn't work? And, you know, what if no one likes my music? And like a lot of like, honestly, self sabotage, but definitely like what affected me more than anything was other people telling me it's not going to work out. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times people say, what do you want to do with your life? And I'm like, music. And they're like, okay, what do you actually want to do? Um, and you know, like I said, I'm stubborn, so I always kind of had to prove a point, and I proved it damn good, I would say. But it definitely more no's than yeses coming up.
Well, and then when did you decide to give music a full time try, and what was it like to take that leap?
Man, it was so bizarre. I like probably like a year and a half ago or so, I like downloaded social media. Like I had gotten off of it for a couple of years, and I downloaded Instagram and TikTok and started like writing a song and posting a song every day. Like didn't make it, you know, I know you see like some different like, you know, people will say, hey, I'm posting a song every day. Like I literally just did it. Like didn't announce it, just started doing it. In October of last year, I had like 400 followers, and a month before that, my current manager, one of her good friends, somehow found a video of mine. Don't know how. Like talk about like there was no algorithm that I was in. I had like 20 likes a video. Like it was sad. You know what I mean? And somehow a guy named Quentin Cook, who actually produced or directed and did my first music video, which was really cool for that to happen. He found this video of me, sent it to my manager Helena Caps, and was like, "You should manage this guy." She sent me a DM, went in my spam, and I just so happened to check my spam a couple weeks later, and come October last year, we hopped on a couple Zooms, and I was like, "Oh, you're a real person. This isn't fake. Like, you know, this is good." And she liked the music. I played her some songs, and we were in the studio by the end of November, recording some stuff, and released the first song, "Leaving," February, and then you know Lily in April. But really, what jump started it is like even then I was like, "All right, like I have this person managing me. What does that mean? Like, you know, like it's someone who's telling me yes, like, hey, I support you and I'm in your corner," which was like I didn't really have that much before then, but I was like, well, what does this do? And we released the first song, and I remember the day before she asked me, she's like, what are your goals? And I was like, you know, I'd be happy with like 5,000 streams total. Like that would be great. Like if 5,000 people listen to my music, that would be amazing. And a month later, there's 100,000 streams on Apple alone. Close to close to that on Spotify, and things I was all of a sudden like, oh my gosh, things are like picking up. At this point I had maybe like 600 followers on Instagram. I was like, we're moving up in the world. Like that's 200 more people. I had like 50 followers on TikTok. Like TikTok was really sad for a long time, and there was golly, it was 2 weeks before I released Lily. We teased it for the first time on socials. And for like a month straight, Helena had begged me. She's like, take like a selfie video in your truck if you listen to the song. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm not one of these like TikTok e boys. Like, I'm
Stubborn. I
not.
see.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
seeing
I'm
that
not gonna
pattern.
do that. And yeah, the stubbornness definitely, yeah, for sure. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that. And finally, I was like, you know what? Like, you keep asking me, like, I believe in, like, I believe in you, and I trust you. I'll do it. And of course, that post went viral. Like, you know, probably to prove a point to me, it went viral. God's got a sense of humor. And then a lot of the industry people started connecting with us. And then Lily came out 2 weeks later, and then we started the whole label and publisher meetings in May, and I signed to Capitol Records in LA by June. You know, it was like that. I actually got fired from my job. I was selling fuel, and the day before my first label meeting, I got fired. I got fired and then got flown up to New York the next day. And I remember the day before that, I was like, all right, God, like, you know, please, like, close the doors that need to be closed, open the ones that need to be open. Because I don't, like, jokingly, I was like, I'm way too damn emotional for, like, to get this far and it not work. Like, I need some sort of, like, work with me here. And then I lost my job the next day, and I was like, I didn't ask for that. Like, that's not what I wanted. And then we flew up to New York the next day to meet with labels, and I was like, I see what you're doing. You know, it's kind of like you gotta jump in all the way. You know, that's one thing I've learned is like in life in general. Like my dad always said, he's like never half-ass anything. You know, he's like as a man, never half do something. And I half did a lot of stuff in my life. I'll be honest, but music has always been something that I've fully done. Um, and so yeah, it's been a whirlwind of a past couple of months. Like I said, I had a normal job 5 months ago.
It's wild how fast things changed for you. But you know, like you said, you were still putting in a lot of work. Did you really write 900 some odd songs before you made it to Nashville?
Yeah, I wrote, yeah, over 900, a lot. I didn't know what co-writing was. My manager asked if I'd ever co-written before, and I asked what that was, and then was really shocked when I found out that people didn't write their own songs, and oftentimes it's four, five people, you know, three people, whatever it is, writing a song for somebody else. And but no, I've definitely like I still write the majority of my stuff solo, but I've like fallen in love with the community here and the songwriters. I mean, they're the heartbeat of this town. A lot at heartbeat of the industry in general. You know, look at country, look at pop, all of it. They make the wheel go round. As an artist, you know, I like to call myself a true singer songwriter because of you know the amount that I still write solo. But I'll say like as an artist, we're just kind of a vessel to get those songs out there. We just happen to have the lucky job of being forward facing to the fans, right? But the songwriters make it go around.
I love that. And you know when you know are writing a song, what's your style? Because obviously, if you listen to your songs and do a little, not even a deep dive, just a little dive into you know where those lyrics are coming from, I think people will realize there's some personal experiences in there. So, what is that writing style like for you? And is it sharing those experiences, those ideas, kind of doing that storytelling?
Yeah, for sure. You know, when I sit down to write a song, I never really plan what I'm going to write. I like it to be as raw and real in the moment as possible. Um, Normally, what I'll do is I'll sit down with my guitar or sit down at a piano or whatever it is and start kind of strumming some chords or come up with some sort of a melody. And then I turn on my voice memos and I start humming, and then it turns from a hum to a freestyle, and then from freestyle to words, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm feeling this today, or I'm feeling that, and then I'll listen back through the voice memo, and I'll like, oh, I like that line, or I like that idea, and I'm like, well, I guess this is what I'm feeling today. I'm gonna write about that. I will say the one thing I'm proud about is every song I've ever written has been from a real experience, a real story, the either I've felt, been through, or family or friends. You know, someone's told me. But it's all been none of it's fabricated. It's all real. I think that the world was missing authenticity, and people have really been looking for that. Just you can tell with you know like how big Zach Bryan's gotten in the past couple of years. You know, he sings real songs with real you know real things that have happened, and you know Noah Khan the same thing, and I think the world was lacking that authenticity, and people are craving that. So it's being honest with people. You know, I think there's an article that came out not too long ago, and a guy asked me, you know, about kind of same thing, like why are you so vulnerable? And I was like, man, we all got skeletons in the closet, and like mine are just out in the open. You know, take a look at them. I'm a normal guy, so.
Well, at the end of the day, people really truly can connect. They can see themselves in the songs. They can see the story, and it makes a big difference,
Right.
and it's a little more impactful that way.
No, for sure. It makes me feel not alone when I see how people react to him. It makes me feel like, oh, I'm not the only one that struggles with this. Like, thank God. There's more. Like, sorry that you do, but there's more of you. Thank God.
And I think that's what's so cool about music and just the lyrics that can transport people to places. And you just released your debut EP on Capitol Records, "Last I Love You,"
Yeah.
which is also Lily, for those that may not have caught on to some play on words and acronyms there. What was it like to put that out there? I mean, like you said, it was a whirlwind for you, but just be able to put out an EP had to be pretty awesome.
Oh, it was incredible. Golly, there's so many like thoughts and emotions and feelings about it. It just felt right. I, I feel like there's a million different ways I can. There's a million different ways I can talk about it, but it just felt right. It was one of those things where I felt like I was in the right place, doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and for the first time, had people that wanted to hear it and people that wanted to support it. Um, and yeah, the team, the Capital team, the Universal Publishing team, my management and booking everybody, just the support and the lifeline that everyone was. Just having those people to be like, what do I do here? Help. Like, what how do we want to release these, or like what songs do we want to pick, because they're all my babies. Every song is my baby, and I think every song is the best song that's ever been written. And so having that, like my producer Lucas Bracewell, and like having the A&R team at Capitol and Universal like walk through songs with me and be like, hey, this is just a damn good song. Like, this is let's try this one. We play a lot of stuff live and see how it reacted, and the Black Gold in My Memory just happened to be two that reacted really well. But there are also songs that I love and care about, and stuff that I felt like needed to be shared. But yeah, it just felt right, man.
Well, and then your first song that was put out, to the masses, like you said, was "Leaving." Why that song? And can you tell me a little bit about where that one came from?
Yeah, for sure. So we chose Leaving because honestly, at the time of my 400 Instagram followers, that video had like 75 likes instead of 20. And I had posted it a couple times. And one of my best friends from college who does videography and photography, his name's Chandler Holmes. Me and him had done like a little shoot, and like we did like some videos of Leaving. Um, but yeah, it just happened. It did well, like, in consideration of the amount of followers I had. And it was, we really, my manager tells it better, because when I showed her Lily, I didn't think it was this like incredible song. I was like, this is this song that like I felt the hell out of it. Like, it's from the heart, but I didn't think it was this crazy. Like, people are always like, oh my gosh, Last I Love You, that's so insane. And I'm like, I just got lucky. It fell in my lap. You know what I mean? I caught it. It was just one of those songs. But Leaving, it has that like four on the floor. Like, it's rowdy. We wanted to introduce me to people in more of like let's get excited, and then we'll make people cry after the fact. But we didn't want to start by making people cry. I figured people would probably listen to me again if I didn't make them cry the first time they listened to a song of mine. And I also don't want to be known, like, you'll see the songs going forward, I don't ever want to be known as the guy that just writes sad songs. Um, I write sad stuff, I write happy stuff, I write hopeful stuff and different things. But I think starting off with a sad song sets a tone for what people can expect. And so I just wanted people to know they can expect good music. So that was kind of the reasoning for that.
Well, and it's great music, and then with songs like Cheyenne, I mean, was it weird to kind of write that one and put that one out there? Because that another one, like you said, you're kind of putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I mean, my entire life I was joking around. I was playing at a writers round the other day for Americanfest, and I said this, and it got a good laugh. And I was like, I will tell a stranger my life story, and if you ask me how I'm doing, I'm gonna answer it truthfully. Like, if you don't want to know, don't ask. Um, and now I get paid to share my life with strangers. Like, it's great. I get paid to be vulnerable. But again, I just think like, what type of what type of artist and what type of storyteller and songwriter would I be if I like hid things from people? I think if we were all just honest with each other in this world, we're all doing this for the first time. Like, why not write a song that might help someone through something? It's silly to hide it. It's kind of like this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. It's one of those things like, why would you hide it in a bush when you can let people know? You know, help out in some way.
Hey, like I said, when people can connect, that people experience these same things or something similar, and it's awesome to be able to connect. And you talked about you are starting to do the co-write thing. Like you understand that that's a thing now.
Right.
For the EP, four of those songs are all you, and then one of them is not. You co-wrote Black Gold with Jonathan Hutcherson, who has been on the show and is an amazing guy. How did that work? How did that song come to be? How did that co-write come to be?
Yeah, Hutch is the homie. I love Hutch. Listen to Jonathan's music. Let me plug him right now. Everybody who sees this. No, he's just talk about just like a lights out human being. Man, couldn't say better things about him. I had like 20 people say, "Hey, you should meet Jonathan Hutcherson." But like last November, like I said, Luke Collins, his old tour manager, who works at Tape Room now with Ashley Gorley, he actually DM'd me and was like, "Hey, man, like I love your stuff. Let's connect when you're in Nashville." And I finally got around to come to Nashville this spring, and we got coffee and really hit it off. And he was like, "I need to connect you to Jonathan, to Hutch." And we got connected in a text and we're like, hey, like we should hang out, we should do something. We ended up getting coffee. And then a guy named Matt Reed, who's a manager in town, owns Hyphen Group, he actually got it right for us. Like we neither of us knew it was happening, but all of a sudden we're at coffee and I'm like looking at my calendar, I'm like, oh, I actually like write a song with you in a couple days. And so it's cool. Me and Hut, we got coffee for like 2 hours. Like it was just one of those like instant friendships. um and yeah, shout out to Matt and Luke for that. But yeah, I went to Creative Nation where Hutch is signed to for publishing, and it was the first time we ever wrote together. We wrote Black Gold. He kind of like we were just kind of extended our coffee shop conversation, and it was, we were talking everything under the sun, from relationships to mistakes to dreams and whatever it was. And I was telling him the story about Black Gold, and I was like, "Dang man, that's a we maybe should we write about that?" And he was like, "Yeah, I think we should write about that." He's like, that's pretty good. And he's like, "I love that idea of Black Gold." And um man, the song came out like 30-45 minutes later. It was done, and it was just one of those, like, we sat down, wrote the hell out of the song, and it just made sense.
Well, like I said, the EP is amazing. If folks haven't given
Thank
it
you.
a listen, they really need to. And you talked about you've been able to share those songs and share even a little bit more about yourself. And you recently performed at Americanafest. How was that to be at such a cool event and be able to be on stage there?
It was awesome, man. I mean, any opportunity I get to play for people is such a blessing. That's the sharing part of my passion that I get to do. And um just being able to, it's almost like you're telling a story, and being able to share those stories with people, and see people's reactions in real time, like see people's face when I say a line and they're like, oh, wow, or you can see, like, sometimes some of the songs, like, they're heavy. You see people like really sitting there thinking, and it's just incredible to see, like, my words aren't falling empty, I guess is the best way to say it. So super humbled and blessed to be able to be on those stages, and just for all the people that came to listen, like, just thanks. People don't ever have to come, but they do. And they're the reason I get to keep doing this every day.
Well, and when you're on stage, for you that has only put out a few songs, so to speak, into the world. What's it like when you actually have some people singing those back and or picking up real quick and having that moment?
Ah, man, it's crazy. I remember the first show I ever played opening up. It was for Tyler Halverson in Oklahoma City at the Beer City. And I remember there was probably 300 people in the room, and I get on stage. It was just an acoustic set, and I remember I tell people, I'm like, you're probably not going to know all these songs. You might know, at that point, Cheyenne came out that night. So I was like, you'll know two of them, but hey, by the way, you should listen to this one tonight. But I was like, I'm going to play you a lot of songs you don't know, and you like them, you don't. It is what it is. And I remember Lily and Leaving were towards the end of the set. And I remember I got to Lily, and I see like a decent amount of people singing it, like enough to notice. It was more than one, you know, more than two. And like that was awesome. And then I always play Leaving as my last song. I feel like it's a good last song to play, like I'm out the door. And I saw again more people singing Leaving, and I was like, oh my gosh, people actually like I can see like on Spotify there's, you know, however many people are listening, and um but actually seeing like people who listen enough to like memorize lines, right? Again, it's just I had so many people tell me no so much in my life about it. Like it it just feels right again.
I was gonna say you're where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to do, and
Yeah.
you know you talk about being able to connect with where people are connected with your songs. What's it like to kind of then do the reverse, and you know while the headliner maybe is on stage, you're out there being able to connect with those fans and kind of share some moments with them that way.
Man, it's incredible. I love meeting people after the shows. Golly. Some of the, you know, I remember that Oklahoma show. There was a guy that drove 2.5 hours. He had saw me teasing Cheyenne online, and he was like, "I drove 2.5 hours hoping you play it." Um, oh, what was it? I forget his name. It was like Antonio, I think. Yeah, Antonio. And then, you know, just like hearing different people, just being inspired. Like, oh, I love, like, I've been following you since you had 300 followers, and now, like, look where you are now. Like, that means I can do it too, you know? Or people that, you know, they're like, hey, like, Lily got me, like, golly, this wasn't in person, but I had a girl DM me on TikTok. It was probably a week after Lily came out. She's like, you know, this is heavy, so just heads up. But she's like, I just want you to know, my best friend just passed away in a car crash, and Lily came on shuffle as I drove to the hospital, and it's the song that I listened to the whole way. Before I got to tell my friend I love you for the last time in the hospital bed. And you know, like you hear things like that, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like damn, like I didn't think of that when I wrote this song, right? Like I was trying to get my feelings out when I wrote this song, and like you know, I didn't think what it would do for other people at that time. Um, and it's just incredible to see the songs land, and do what I want, you know, make sense for people, and be a crutch for people, be something they can run to, you know, something they can cry to, they can be happy to it, you know. It's just so cool to see, like I said, the words not falling empty and them meaning something, and like being able to like have those conversations in person with people and have people say like, oh, this song means so much to me. Like, man, it's incredible. It's a drug for sure.
Well, and you know, at the beginning of every episode, I ask the one question. You know, what's your drink? Go to drink. What you drinking tonight? You know, I feel like this is a great one to now ask you. It's probably my second favorite question. You know, you've got a few songs that everyone knows that are out. I'm sure you got more that
Hmm.
you're playing. So, what's your favorite song to perform these days on stage?
Oh wow, that's a good one. I have a song called "The Start" that I like to play a lot. It's about a group of phone conversations I had with my mom. I had made some stupid mistakes and was also trying to like navigate where I am now. And like I remember I called her, and like one of the first things, the opening line of the song, one of the first things she said is she's like, "Baby boy, just know like this gets hard. Like life isn't easy." But the she was like, you know, basically was like, look around where you are now, like see how far you've come. And so like that, you know, that song starts off, it says like, baby boy, I know gets hard, but look around, see how far you've come. Look how far you've come. And it goes on is like there's lyrics like, I've seen your heart and I know that's kind, like wrestling with the idea of like, these things that I've done, these stupid mistakes, but like I promise you I'm a good person, right? um and that song is just really, you know, it's just a powerful song. I think, you know, the whole like chorus is like, you know, it all starts in your heart, you know, like loving yourself is the start, right? If you can't love you, then you can't love anybody else. um and that was something I struggled with my whole life, is this self-love thing, right? Like forgiving myself and feeling like I'm enough and all this stuff. And but seeing, man, tell you what, I've seen some grown-ass men cry to that song in the crowd before, and I'm like, I'm right there with you. I hope you know that. I just can't cry because I won't be able to sing. but like seeing like the look on people's faces and like just knowing that like that whole song is just like, hey, it's okay, like we're all just doing this for the first time, like this is legit just the start, you know. um I love performing that one. It sounds cool. I think like melodically and the music behind it and then like the lyrics just hit. So I would say the start is definitely one that I love to play.
Well, I love that because if folks have listened to Last I Love You EP, they know that one's not on the EP. So clearly that means at some point, somewhere, maybe down the road, I'm not going to get you in trouble, but there could be something else that comes. So with that in mind, what else can folks expect from you the rest of 2024? We only got a couple more months left
Yeah.
here, and then on into 2025.
I mean, I can say that. Well, I don't know if I can say this, but I will anyways. So, like, if I can't, it is what it is. But another song in November, um, is the plan. I'm not going to tell you dates because I don't know that yet, but I know at least one more song this side of the year in November. Um, I know there's a lot of Christmas music that'll be out, so we want something that you can listen to that's not Christmas related. Um, but yeah, November. And then, man, if the label and my booking agent and my manager have it their way, I won't ever see my bed in 2025. So, and honestly, I would have it the same way. So expect me on the road. I mean, any chance I can get, definitely a lot of headlining stuff we're going to be working on. Some really cool stuff and some really cool people we're talking to. Try and get this music out to you in person. And then, yeah, man, just a shit ton more songs. Like, as much music as I can release, we're going to release it. We're not going to drown you with it, but we're going to make sure y'all have enough to sing back when you come to see shows. So.
I love it. You see, that's a good. See, someone worked with you. That was a good tease. Gave them just enough. You're not going to get yourself in too much trouble, but man, it sounds like some amazing things are coming, and
Yes, sir.
folks, go give him a listen when he finally does come to your town. Go there and see a show because I think you'll enjoy it. And Christian, man, thanks for sharing your story and sharing a drink with me, man. Cheers.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Jonathan. It was a great time. I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me, and thanks for caring.
Find more from Hops and Spirits at hopspirits.com.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.